Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, everyone. Hello,
It's nice
Osmarie.
to be
Welcome
back.
back. Yeah, welcome back for the
What's
next
our topic today?
episode. Well, last time we dealt with the aura and energy centers, and it was the part one, right? Which
Okay.
you discussed energy centers in part one.
Yeah. So in today is the part two of the aura and energy centers. The part one was released 12 days ago. Link will be provided in the description box. And today we're going to be discussing the aura. And Philippe is the master of that. And we will also discuss the connection of aura and energy centers so you can relate what's the connection. I will give the floor to Philippe because I'm the master of energy centers. Philippe is the master of aura. So I'll give you the floor to
Thank you.
discuss about auras.
Thank you for the amazing introduction. I feel very privileged. So, yeah. So today, we're talking auras. And most people are aware what auras are, an energetic field that surrounds the physical body. But I think what people should really understand is it's actually the other way around. The aura is actually the presence of the soul in this dimension, and that the body is actually inside of the soul. It's the vehicle for the soul to experience this dimension. So it's a bit of a reversing roles type of thing. It still works the same way, but it's just understanding that we are essentially a soul, which is the energy, and the body is just the vehicle, like your motor car to go to work. That's basically the concept. So the construction of the components of the aura itself is approximately 2 meters in diameter. So if you had to hold your arms out to your sides, then it's
Yes.
roughly that little bit more, that much more all around this ball of energy that you actually are inside. So if you imagine that if you're walking around and you're standing close to somebody, then the auras will actually touch each other. And that's where we can start to communicate without realizing on an energetic level. But if we look at the construction of the aura and the components, the aura has 7 basic layers that we're aware of. And the first layer, which is called the etheric layer, which is the closest layer to the physical body. And that is basically a template for the physical body to mirror itself off. It's like a mold, basically. So if you had to incarnate and decide that in this life you were going to be challenged that you would be missing an arm or missing another appendage, then the etheric body would actually be positioned at the moment of conception with that part missing, so that the physical cells do not have that part to replicate, to duplicate. So that part would be missing in the physical body, if that makes sense.
How far is the etheric aura? Because she said aura is 2 meters.
Yeah.
So it's basically this, 2 arms.
Yeah.
So how far is etheric aura from the body?
So the etheric body, which is a part of the aura, is the closest to the physical body, and it's about 1 to 2 centimeters. The same size as the physical body, but about 1 to 2 centimeters. So if you had to look at the aura, you would
Oh, that's
just
the one I see when I look at myself in the mirror,
yes,
like the light.
that's the one. It's like if you on a hot day, if you look at the road, you see that shimmer, that watery, that's
Mirage.
mirage. That's the same. That's the size of the etheric body. It's practically the same size. So the physical body tries to be the same as the etheric body. So whatever challenges, physical challenges, you have chosen to incarnate with will already be programmed in the etheric body, and the physical body will go, oh, I have to look like the etheric body. So when we conduct any energy work on someone, we're actually working on the energetic body, etheric body, and we alter that process. And then the physical body goes, oh, something has changed in the etheric body. So now I have to reproduce that image physically. And as we know, any disease or anything that happens within the physical body usually starts off as an energetic or an emotional issue. So it starts within the aura, and then the physical body goes, aha, something has changed. I have to match those changes. So we can look at the etheric body as a mold, a template for the physical body to adjust itself accordingly.
So in summary, it's the extension of the physical body.
Well, and again, we have to look at the other way around. The physical body is an extension of the etheric body. It's a projection, right?
Yeah, but at a physical level. I'm
Yes.
talking about the physical level. It's like the extension, something that you can see
Correct.
of the physical body.
Correct. Yeah. And that's quite easy to see. I mean, everybody can be trained really, really quickly to see that layer, energetic layer. And you can quite easily see that in animals, in plants. You can see that layer quite easily. Once you know what to look for, it's quite easy to see that. So that's the first layer. Second layer, which is again slightly bigger, not just a few centimeters, but a bit more. The exact size is I'm not going to commit to the exact size because I don't know the exact size. But the next layer is called the emotional body. And this is where we store our experiences. When we're young, when we're born, the aura, I always imagine the aura coming in as a clear vessel. And as we gain experiences as a young child, we store experiences as different frequencies. And those are different colors, which appear like, could be like a puzzle. They'll be adding within the aura. And those are the frequencies. And as we get older, when we feel frequencies arrive to us through our energy centers from the outside, we recognize the frequency with using the energy centers, and we quickly scan the aura. We go, aha, that frequency matches this frequency that I have as an experience. Therefore, it means this to me. So it's almost like a reference. We reference that library of experiences. As we grow up, we store experiences within the aura. So that's in the emotional body.
So emotional aura is the storage of memory.
Correct.
Present life and past life?
Yes, potentially. So it's potentially, yeah, if you have past life that has filtered through into this life, it will be in the emotional body, which is an energetic storage of experiences that you've had. So yes, that can incorporate other lives potentially as well. So that's the emotional body. Then the next layer beyond that is the mental body. And that's usually a yellow golden color. And that's where we store all our intelligence. So when you study, if you see somebody, if you can see auras and you see somebody that's very intellectual, doesn't do a lot of physical work, physical exercise, they will have a big mental body. There's a lot of information stored within their aura. So that's where all the information is stored that you've learned, that becomes wisdom, experience, wisdom, knowledge, all stored in that layer, if that makes sense.
Is that the reason why I see gold color whenever we go highly intellectual conversation together? I see gold color.
Yes, absolutely. And when you mention that to me, straight away, I get that image. I know you're seeing my mental body because that's being highlighted. We now either input or extracting. So that becomes the active layer that you apparently can see. Maybe that makes a bit more sense. So those are the first three layers. And those three layers, I see those as the life support system for the physical body, for the experience in this world. When you die, or if those three layers separate from the physical body, this is when the physical body ceases to function. So that's the end of a life, an end of an incarnation.
What do you mean if it separates?
Well, if I was to magically remove those three layers, if I had the power to do that, you would essentially become a dead person. That's the life support. That's what keeps this body functioning, is those first three layers. You got the physical, you got the mental, you got the emotional bodies. That's what we need to function in this dimension. That's what helps this body to function.
It's true.
So
The
those
physical, emotional,
Yeah.
and mental.
So I like to call those the life support system for the physical body, the physical experience. Exterior to that, the next layer is the astral body. And the astral body is the bridge between the physical and the non-physical experience. So beyond the astral body, we have the duplicate version of the etheric, the emotional, and the mental, but on a high frequency. And that is what communicates on a divine level, on an astral level, on a spiritual level. It's that connection. So when you leave your body at night and go traveling in astral, the astral body takes those last three layers, which includes the physical function, which includes emotional function, energetic function, and also a mental function. So you can function moving your awareness through other layers, through other dimensions. That's what you're using to travel, to move your awareness into different areas. And then when you come back, whatever experiences you've gained, you've stored in those layers. When you come back and rejoin with those first three layers, that's when the integration occurs. And then you go, oh, you wake up, oh, I remember this, or I remember that, because it's filtered through the layers into the lower layers that you are aware of when you're in a waking state. If that makes sense.
So the astral is the gate.
Correct. Yeah. When people say, you might have heard people say that there's a silver cord that connects when you travel, silver cord that connects through the solar plexus and you travel around. That silver cord is connected to the astral body. And that's the connection to find this way back to this body.
So the astral is the connection to the 5D.
Yes,
the portal to the 5D.
You could look at it that way. You could absolutely look at it that way.
And the etheric, emotional, and mental are at the 3D.
Correct. Yeah, so it's that bridge, that connection between the physical and the non-physical. So those are the basic 7 layers that most people that are healers that work with energy are aware of. And it's something that when I do energy work with people, I use some equipment that I have, and I can actually demonstrate and show you the size of your aura. We can see, and then I can help you to actually do the exercise yourself, where you can see the actual size of your aura. And it's effectively, it is truly about 2 meters in diameter. And the last layer that actually holds everything together is called the auric.
Right, you just explained 4. Astral, what's the 5?
The catheric layer. Catheric layer, which is the duplicate of the etheric layer. Then there's the emotional body, and the name of the emotional body at that level escapes me. I apologize. And then there's the emotional body, and then the mental body as well, which is...
So, if I understand it correctly, you have 3 layers at the 3D, and these 3 layers are replicated at a 5D. And then what's the 7th one? Because that's 3 plus 3, 6. What's
6.
the 7th one?
The astral body is another layer, which is the 7th one, which is the one that the bridge between the top 3 and the bottom 3, the astral body.
Okay, gotcha. So you have 3, the connector, the portal, and then the 3.
And the other 3. And then right on the outside, we've got the auric sheath, which is like a glove that holds everything together. And it's usually seen as like a golden sphere color, depending on your perspective. But that's the understanding, is that it's like a glass that holds a water in the fish tank. It keeps everything, the integrity of of the energies.
It's like the eggshell.
Exactly. Good example. So that's the basic construction of the aura. And then of course you've got the energy centers that connect and help the aura to sense its environment. So energy centers being the input output for the aura, sensing and projecting. And so that's the basic function of the energetic or the soul that envelops the physical body, around the physical body. So we can use the aura as a sensory organ. And when I say sensory organ, I mean to use it like to feel your environment. When you walk into a room and you walk past somebody, sometimes you may feel that you can maybe hear somebody's thoughts. That's because the energy of your aura and their aura has connected, and you are connecting and you can actually hear what they're thinking. Sometimes in the past, I've had it where I can actually feel the person's intention and actually hear what they're going to say or do before they actually do it. So you can feel the intention, you can feel the thoughts, and those can potentially generate the action. So you can sense somebody's energy before they're actually projected as words or as an action.
I actually had an experience just a few days ago. I was in a cafe and I was not even looking. And then I saw flashes of purple. It was such a strong energy, and I know I just feel the direction where it's coming from.
Right.
I was looking down at the table and I just felt an energy coming from the left direction. And I said, wow, that is such a strong energy. And I looked, there were like three of them, two women and a guy. And I can specifically tell where is that purple energy coming from. And it was so strong, and they sat beside us. But then it was far. I sense it from afar. I don't know like the connection, but her energy is so strong.
So that's slightly different because that's projected. So that's projected outside the immediate aura, right? And that's more on a quantum level connection. That you start to feel that. If you know someone that you have an emotional connection to, you get to know their energy. And usually it happens to people in relationships, in a romantic relationship where they've known each other for a few years, they become sensitive to each other's energies. And it's usually somebody that will say, when you start talking, they will say, oh, I was just thinking the same thing. But they weren't thinking the same thing. They just heard what you were thinking and they believed it was their thoughts, right? This is where it becomes a problem for people that are empathic, sensitive, because, and I can speak from experience, that unless you know yourself, other people's energy can feel like it's yours. And that can be really confusing, especially with strong emotions. So, and that kind of communication, there's no limit in distance. I had a partner a few years ago. They went on holiday on the other side of the planet. And I felt the one morning exactly what was happening. And I messaged her and I said, so what happened? What happened here, here, here? And she was, how did you know? I said, I just knew. When that kind of connection, there's no distance. It's a communication at a quantum level, but that's projected energy as opposed to the static energy of the aura. So when we project, we're projecting through the energy centers, depending on the level of that we're projecting at. So like thoughts,
I guess we need to discuss now.
Psychic, psychic, third eye and throat, psychic projection connection, right? that level that we're communicating at. Yeah, go ahead.
So we have to explain now how energy centers actually feed aura, or the other way around.
Yeah, go ahead and make that connection. Maybe people missed that in the first.
You go ahead.
Okay, I'll try and explain it, and you correct me if I get it wrong. So energy centers work as input-output devices. So imagine a microphone. Imagine your energy centers as microphones. So any energy that's coming in that direction of that microphone gets captured. And then it goes within, and we feel that frequency, that energy, and we go, ooh, I can feel something. I can feel that energy. And then I quickly reference my emotional body to see, is it something, is it an experience? Is it something that I've experienced before? Is it something that I know? And if it's something that I've experienced before, I have a record and I can go, aha, this energy means that experience. And I can mentally translate it and go, right, this is what's happening. The reverse, when we project like a loudspeaker, we send energy out from the energy center, and then people will receive that and sense that with their auras. So they become the receiver, and they interpret the frequency that we are sending out, depending on the intention, depending which energy center or combination of energy centers is used, will generate a frequency type that can be potentially identified by a receiver. Yeah, that's the way I see it.
The way I see it and the way I do it, like even in just simple meditation, I use the energy center as the receiver of energy, because energy centers are non-physical, are wheels or discs of energy. They are the non-physical highway of cosmic energy. So you receive energy through the energy centers, and then it goes from the bottom base all the way to the crown, and it feeds the aura.
Cool. So is that with all energies, or is it specific types, or no?
It's all energy centers, because for the kundalini, for the energy comes down because we receive it from above, and then it comes up. So if one is blocked, then the energy is not able to come up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, we're going slightly different, but that's okay.
Yeah,
In my experience with the Kundalini energy, you have to have a certain level of balance before it will travel all the way up, right? And that's
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, so we take all those aspects for granted unless we actually shown the function and how they work. And what I really like to do if I'm doing a physical class is to show measuring the aura and to show measuring the energy center, so people can become more aware of who they are on a non-physical level, and that makes it more real. And then your awareness immediately changes, and I think that's really helpful.
Actually, I think it would be good to share to our listeners or watchers, how do you actually protect your aura?
You mean to protect your aura?
Yeah.
So
It's 2 meters. You bump with somebody with negative aura. How do you protect yourself? Because you will absorb it in a way. It's energy.
yes. So in my experience, obviously has gone over several years. In my early part of my spiritual walk, let's call it, I would employ, and I would also teach, to add a protective layer around yourself. to help against that kind of influence of frequencies of energies of people that had poor intentions, let's say. So I would teach that. But then as my experience grew and as I became more aware and as I understood frequencies and as my experiences grew, I realized that, and I experienced that as I increased my personal frequency, so I'm talking about my complete aura frequency, as I increase my frequency to a different frequency level, the people with the low frequency state that would normally affect me, they would no longer be able to affect me, even without me protecting myself, because they were operating at a different frequency. Then I changed my teachings to no longer saying you have to have protection, because if you raise your frequency to a certain level, you no longer need that because you are not affected by the lower frequency experiences. So there is an evolutionary process, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But for those who
Yes.
haven't achieved that, yeah, I teach as well to visualize a bubble. I normally go with the powder blue bubble to protect your energy from absorbing energy
Yeah.
from other people, especially if you are in crowded places.
Yeah. So similarly, I would do this similar to what you were saying in the past. For me, the protection color was always like a gold color that I perceived as I would imagine filling up my body with a golden color energy through the crown, and then expanding that energy into the aura and incorporating the whole aura, and then do that in the morning, and then you feel safe, secure. You can walk around all day and feeling that you're not going to be affected by. So absolutely, yeah, agreed. The big driving factor is intention, right? You can use whatever color you want: white light, gold light, blue light, green light.
Mm-hmm.
The intention is the key factor here.
Yeah, I do specific colors because for me, like every color has a meaning. I think
Yeah.
some of the colors have generic meaning.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. So yeah, so that's the basic functions and the basic components of the auras. And yeah, if you once you get used to it, you can, as I say, you can use it as a sensory organ. You can walk around in town and just feel, you can feel people's emotions, you can feel people's intentions. I've even come across where I could feel people that weren't quite from this world. I go, oh, this person's not from around here. The energy feels completely different. So you get used to, with practice, right? The most important part is learning to know your own energy. Once you know your own energy,
Yeah,
then you can tell the difference with somebody else's energy. That's
that's
the
actually
most important thing.
that's actually an important thing
Yeah.
because way back in my early days of healing, my clients would send me their energy. I can feel their energy, and I know it's not mine.
Yeah.
Because my normal energy all the time is calm and chill. I'm always calm and chill. And then suddenly I would just feel excited or nervous or anxious. And I know that's not my energy. And I see that the clock, I have a client healing session in 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, that's it. They're sending me their emotions, their energy. But now, I guess, as you said, I've evolved. I've really learned to cut all those things and I don't feel it anymore unless it's so strong and unless they really intend to send it to me or unless I really intend to feel what they're feeling.
Yeah, but as you say, and unfortunately, majority of people are not aware they're actually doing that. they don't realize they're just projecting because they're thinking about where they're going. So they're coming to see you next and they're just projecting without realizing. So energy management at that level comes with practice. But yeah, it can be very confusing. And especially, as I mentioned before, especially for people that are very empathic, they can feel other people's energies. It can be very confusing. For me, it was very confusing for many, many years until I discovered that I was that sensitive that I was picking up on everybody else's emotions and thinking they were mine. I remember driving up to a set of traffic lights, sitting in my car, listening to music, happy, no problem. All of a sudden, I'm thinking, why am I feeling angry? It doesn't make any sense. Then I looked on the side of the road, somebody waiting to cross the road, standing there, and I was like, I wonder what's going on. And as I drove away, the lights changed. As I drove away, that feeling disappeared. And I thought, aha, it was that person standing next to the road. I was actually feeling their energy. So it can be very confusing unless you know your own energy. But yeah, we can talk a long time about this kind of thing. It's very interesting.
But I guess we sum up. So in summary, if I understand it correctly, you have the physical, which is 1-2 centimeters. It's an extension of your physical body.
Yeah.
The emotional and the mental.
Correct.
That is the aura in the 3D. And then you have the astral, which is a portal to the outside world. And you have a replication of the physical, emotional, and mental at a 5D level.
Correct. And then you've got the auric
And
sheet.
then you have the auric sheet that protects your aura.
Yes. Maintains
and that
integrity.
encompasses 2 meters in general, which is two arms wide, arms open.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got it 100%.
And your energy center is your USB. They are the receiver of energy, and it gets projected.
Yeah.
You feel to the aura.
And one quick last comment. Years ago, I was doing a lot of experimenting with energy with some students that suddenly became clairvoyant, etc., from work we were doing. And that, as working as a healer, I would stand aside out of the person's aura, and I would integrate, bring universal energies in, and my personal aura would double in size, bringing extra energy. I didn't know that. It felt like there was an expansion, but I didn't realize at what level. So there's so much more going on, with the aura, with our energy centers, that unless you can see them, you don't know. But yeah, it's all very interesting. Thank you very much for your insight, Osmarie. It's always a pleasure to have somebody.
Thank you so much.
Caliber.
And we see our viewers, listeners, watchers in our next podcast. I hope you learned something from energy centers, and today it's all about aura.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Until the next time, which is next week.
Yep, pretty much. Have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Bye.